Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the Computer Show. Because the new mobs are having a wonderful day on this 20th April 2025. Happy Easter. Today we're doing the final day of the mental health. There's possibly going to be some more in the future, but as you guys know, last week we had some really bad news. So took a little break. When I take breaks, we're going to do a double video. We're going to do, no, shit. Okay. Feeling a lot better starting tomorrow is going to be the title. Feeling better starting tomorrow is the title. So yeah, I often, well, not often, well, kind of often take breaks, right? And because we took a break, it was, how can I say this? It's starting really well, right? Because we just had, okay, the truth, we just had an amazing sausage, a no-name garlic sausage, and it is to die for. So, of course, this is delicious. There you go. Want to focus? Let's get some more snacks. It's just because the brain is screaming hungry. The brain is screaming hungry, so the whole brain is focusing on the fact that you're hungry. So have a festival. So whenever we take a break, I like to have a mental health update every single couple of days. Just because I think it's important, you know. Ultimately speaking, it's important to talk about how you feels. How you're feeling. You talk to a shrink, and you pay so much money. But if you talk to yourself, you do the same thing, you know. Pizza Ficello. Flex. So today is the fourth day of this break. Once again, last time I'm going to talk about it, but what a bill from the government, and that bill was of the amount of $13,000. I got fucked over by the company badly, where they make it seem like I quit the job versus it closed, which is not true because it did close. That is bullshit. That is complete bullshit. So I'm gonna try to have as much as possible a positive mindset about it. And the last couple of days was hard. On the first day we talked about we were shocked. The second day we talked about the stage of grief. The third day I wasn't feeling well. Now we're feeling a lot better. And I'm glad because we're coming back tomorrow. I would be coming back today. If I'm being completely honest, I would be ready to come back today. But it's Easter. It's Easter. So I want people to enjoy their family, right? I want people to enjoy their family, and I don't know. We'll make another video about it, but shortly spoken, you have holidays like Christmas, like Valentine's, like, you know, and those holidays they're meant to be celebrated with loved one, and that's amazing. But at the same time, like, not really, because yes, I want to celebrate with my loved one, but in the same case, I don't, because I have this show to watch. Right? And I don't know. I was born in an era where our show had like a Easter effect to it. So it was, hey, the Easter special. So you constantly had this mentality of it's Easter, and you constantly had this mentality of let's celebrate Easter, and then you have a family home or a family life, and you had this Easter, right? So I feel like we're kind of losing that, and that's why I didn't want to come back today, because I wanted to force people to enjoy time with their family or loved one. Like, don't watch me online, watch people in real life. Right? Have a parasocial relationship with somebody other than yourself, right? Which is admittedly weird, but who gives a shit? So continuing with the mental health, we're doing a lot better. I had a text from my mom this morning. Like I told you guys, we had not a really big, but kind of like a big argument, and I was like, oh, some things were said that should not be said. Something, which, you know, she apologized, right? And I don't think I said things that are. I'm also guilty because yes, my mom was the one that said some messed up stuff. But at the same time, my mom only acted out of. She only acted out of a sadness, right? Of stress. And as a son, I should have been there to say, you know what, I don't agree with what you're saying. You know what you're saying is hurtful, but I'm your son, and even though I don't appreciate how you're talking to me, I'm still gonna make the effort to make sure that you're okay, right? Um, I'm gonna do a video about it where we're talking about assholes and being an asshole, which is basically we had somebody blocked us today, which is the person that always sent us videos and have promoted, and she didn't stop. She was sending me one every single day, so she blocked me. And how do I feel with the fact that she blocked me? Because I knew the person in question, right, had problem with mental health. So as a good friend, I should have been like, hey, you know, I have to take care of you. But the reality is I don't know this person. I don't really know that person. Because I don't really know them, it's hard for me to be like, hey, let me be there for you, because I don't know what you need. I don't know how you reacted. I don't know your story. I don't know what creates this, you know? So it's harder. And with my mom, I had some part of guilt in that. Being you see, it's a weird thing, because I did talk about how I felt like I was the, not necessarily the voice of reason, but definitely the voice of balance. Like my mom was worried, me calming her. My father was constantly, hey, I'm gonna fix it, I'm gonna fix this. Me having to say, we're gonna calm down, let's just think about it, right? Mom stress, father urgency. I'm in the middle, and we're trying to take care of everybody, right? And of course, this mentality of trying to take care of everybody is a great thing. But if you have this mentality of helping everybody, but you're not really helping anybody, because your perception of, well, I'll try to help, and that's enough, is it enough, right? That's a real question. Did you try to help? Was it enough? In most cases, yes, because the attention counts, right? But when you have a very traumatic situation, right? And for example, right, you have a fire, right? And I'm not saying go into the fire and injure yourself, but you know the fire is it's pretty tame, right? There's only one piece. Only one side of the house is in fire. There's only one room in the house that's on fire. Everybody's out, and there's a woman screaming, "My baby's in there! My baby's in there! My baby's in there!" And the first thing that you should do is call the firefighter, right? But if you can do something for the baby, right? So the general idea is, I want to help the baby, right? I have this idea of I'm trying to help, right? And you're calming the parents, you're calming them, and you're calming them, and you're like, hey, the firefighters are gonna come, right? You're gonna be okay. That's a great thing to do, right? But that's the most helpful thing you can do. Or you can ask yourself, well, I'm seeing the house, I'm saying that maybe I can do it, you know? And then you take a risk, right? But then you truly help, versus, well, you were there, you were helpful, but did it really matter, right? And this is something that happened to me a lot in life, you know? I was at work, right? And because I didn't have any leadership quality to me, I was more so a follower, which was years ago. This was 2020. This was 2012, 2013, when we started working, right? The general idea was, hey, do you need some help? I'm trying to help you. And people were saying, we don't need your help, we need you to work. And in my head, I was like, fuck you. I'm trying to help, I'm trying to be a good guy, you know? But they were right. Helping was great, but working was better, right? And there's only so much you can do being great. You know? Sometimes, I know perfection is it's unachievable, right? And I'm not saying be perfect, but just understanding, this is going to be a long conversation, right? Just understanding, you see, this is mental health, right? So, quick side note, the better the mental health is, the better we focus, right? So there's gonna be another video to do. I'm gonna take notes, give me a second. Because right now, we're coming up with ideas, right? Perfect, right? Mental health. And I forgot the last one. Asshole. Of course, the concept of perfection is flawed. There's nobody that's gonna be perfect, right? But the second that you're using this as an excuse, and say, hey, I catched it. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing just fine. I lies, I'm dying inside. Hey, how you doing? Such a good song. The simple fact that you're saying, hey, I'll never be able to achieve perception. So because you believe that you're never going to be able to achieve perception, then your whole stand-up of perfection isn't isn't proper. There's a concept that is unachievable, and because it's unachievable, you're not gonna try. But there are some people that are gonna try to be perfect, and even though they're failing, they still tried, right? So this is what we're trying to talk about. Also, you can tell my mental health is better, but not perfect. I think that my ideas are quite confused today because of mental health, but I think it's because we didn't have a great workout in a while, so that definitely doesn't help. Coming back to the sheeps. So with the with my parents, I could have done better. I could have done more, right? And yes, I did try to help, but did I really try my best? Or I just tried enough to be able to say I tried to help, right? And then in this perception, I also gave up when I saw my mom was super stressed. I was like, okay, well, let's just talk. Let her talk and let her you know, um, let her calm herself down, or let us, I don't want to say let her punch the punching bag, but let her exteriorize this anger, right? And with my father was like, hey, we need to fix this, and I'm gonna give up, and I'm gonna give up, and I was like, fuck. And in both cases, I complained about them. I complained about my father giving up, and I complained about my mom being too angry. But in the case of my dad, and of course, inside is 2020, right? So inside being 2020, it's easier to come up with a solution. But when my dad, I should have been like, hey, we can try this. Instead of saying, why are you fucking giving up? Let's bring out some solution, possibility, where we don't have to give up. We're getting a positive result, right? So, for example, somebody that says, hey, I'm tired, let's go home. You're saying, we got so little to do, right? It's only saying something, but it helps, which is motivation. My mom, instead of letting her vent is actually a pretty good word. Instead of letting her vent, trying to understand where she's coming from, and understand how she's feeling, It's one thing to let her vent, it's another thing to say, okay, well, I understand how you feel, right? And this is how, not necessarily my reaction, but this is what I think we should do. And ultimately speaking, it's important because you are, once again, the person that's supposed to take care of your parents. I'm seeing this with aging. This is good actually. With aging, I'm seeing my parents being more vulnerable, right? And the reality is they've always been vulnerable. It's just that right now I'm more aware of it because I'm more mature, but because they're weaker. You can see their body decaying, and I know this is horrible to say, but you see my mom being more fatigued. You see my father having a harder time lifting things that he used to be able to lift. You're gonna have a sheet of Jeep rock. You're gonna have problem lifting it, but he used to be able to lift it, right? So you're like, okay, well, you're getting older, right? I knew it's gonna come sooner than later. So then, with the mental health, and I was talking about somebody that blocked me, right? And I was like, okay, well, I didn't really care that the person blocked me because we're not really close, and this person was being, how can I say that nicely? They were self-promoting. I was like, fuck, stop. And it's crazy because they blocked me, but I was thinking about blocking them. Like I told them, please stop, right? My first thought was like, yo, I told you to free time already. Next time I'm gonna block you, right? I said, please stop. And then her answer was, hey, I don't like how you treat me. I'm just trying to be in the For You page, and you're not helping out. So, and she just blocked me. Well, if you need my help for being in the For You page, maybe the video in itself is not good enough. I never was in the For You page. Well, that's not true. I'm in the For You page quite often, but that's because I post so much. I post like a madman, But if I wasn't in the For You page, my first thought wouldn't be like, hey, I need to be in there, or I need people to be in there. It would be like, okay, well, how can I be in there, right? And I think this is the same thing I was talking about with my parents, right? For example, my father giving up. How can I tell him not to give up? How can I motivate him not to give up, right? My mom, how can I calm her down without it being too toxic? How do I calm her down without the situation escalating, That's quite important. That is super, super important because you're in a position of I can fix things versus I can't fix things. And if you can fix things, you should try to fix things, right? Super simple. So then, with the mental health, today we had a talk by me and my mom. She apologized for how she talked to me, and it's so fucking nice because I don't hold grudges. I know the name of the channel is In Vendetta, but I don't hold grudges. I don't hold grudges, I don't know. I just feel good about it. I just feel good about it in general, right? The situation is not It's not perfect, but I had the two parents, and now they're calmer, right? And I was talking last week about, oh, I have to help out people, and I have to help out my coworker, right? My coworker, and again, I'm gonna sound like such a, uh, such a weak human being, such a loser, but they're not trying to help me, right? We're talking all of us together in a group chat. They're not trying to help me. How many steps are they doing for themselves, right? Right, and does it makes it okay for me to think about myself? No, but I already have this mentality of I'm not gonna be able to help everybody. I'm gonna be able to help a couple guy, but not everybody, right? And it makes it easier on me to not feel guilty when people do the same thing, right? And again, is this the right mentality? No. Is it the right thing to do? Absolutely not. You should always try to help your neighbor. Always, 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 always. Is what's been being. It's what is being a human is about, right? Helping each other, being social. We talked about that before, right? But then you realize that my parents were also extremely important, and I love the guys at work, but my parents are a little bit more important, right? Priorities. And today we were able to make sure that the two of them were good. Now, technically speaking, we did cheat a little bit because we used Easter as a way to mend the wounds. So like, hey, I know the situation is not going well, and I just wanted to wish you a happy Easter, you know? And that opened up the bridges for communication. And by opening up the bridge for communication, then you can have a common understanding, right? So simple, using the timing is important. If it wasn't for Easter, I don't know. But it was for Easter, so it's all good in the hood. Yeah, I feel like this is a pretty good place to not necessarily to stay at because we still have the bills to pay, right? But it's a good place to be at because both my parents, which are the main actor in this scenario, and of course there's me, but I'm the. It's fucked up. So again, because we took a break from TikTok, because we took a break from being live and take break from being social, right? I've been watching a lot more movies, right? And this is my story. This is my life. And in my life, there's time where I feel like I feel like the main character. There's sometimes like I feel like the main protagonist. And there's time where I feel like I'm the narrator. There's time where I'm very active in my life, and there's time where I'm taking a step back and I have to allow people surrounding me to talk and express how they're feeling and XYZ, you know. So that's pretty much it. So I'm not in the best position, but I'm doing much better. The two people that were the main actor are doing way better. The situation is still to solve, but it's looking good. It's odd because it's such a big deal. It's such a big problem that you want to focus on it, but the healthiest thing to do is moving on, right? And maybe that's what my father's meant by giving up. Let's pay the bills and move on, right? And I was like, no, fuck the bills. But maybe he was right. Maybe he was right. Maybe without, I'm still gonna contest it. I'm still gonna say, hey, listen, I wasn't in the wrong here, right? Maybe, just maybe, you know, this mentality, the mentality wasn't to give up. The mentality was, let's try to do what we can right now and then move on because there's more life than that, right? And that's pretty much it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it ends. Purposefully speaking, we're always going to try to see things in positive fashion. The break didn't really felt well, but the break in itself was weird because you know it was the first day I was in shock. The second day I was kind of better, right? Because we were in the 5 stages of grief, and we were in bargaining, right? We were in a state of bargaining, which is kind of positive because you're trying to fix the situation in ways that you can, right? You're bargaining with a problem to feel like you're able, or you try to, once again, try to not being able, you try to fix the situation in itself. That's what I'm trying to do, right? Now we're in the acceptance. I feel like that's it. We're in the acceptance of we have a bill to pay. How much damage can we avoid doing? So, for example, and even my father, and it's such a insight of course inside the 2020, and when you're done with the situation, of course you understand it better, but it was such a crazy thing to think about, non-purposefully, but still it was a crazy thing to think about because my father when I saw him the next day, he was like, what were you trying to do when you call me and your mom, right? And I saw it as, were you trying to beg, or were you trying to convince us to help you out, right? And that's how I saw it. But the reality was, why did you bring me and your mom in this, as in we're now victims of your action? Now, of course, my father is extremely weird, because on one way he says, well, you should have taken care of it, and on the other, and in the same sentence, he's gonna say, hey, you should have taken care of it, but in the same sentence, he's gonna say, they fucked you over. They fucked you over, you know? So it's nonsense. But I think my father comes from a place where he wants the system to be working, right? And I think that's important. I think that's really important. But ultimately, the system isn't perfect. And if the system is flawed, then it will be flawed. It's okay to have issue with a system that is flawed, because once again, you're not master of, okay, well, I can fix it, right? You're not. This is so purposeful. This is so meaningful as a conversation. We just talked about how we were trying to do something versus we were able to do something, right? I'm trying to fix the system. I'm not able to, right? So at least I'm trying to fix the system, but then once again, it's bargaining, acceptance, it's lethargy, it's anger, it's denial, which is the 5 stages of grief. But acceptance is like, okay, well, this is how the system is. I can't change it, so what am I supposed to do, right? And the answer is jack shit. The answer is, and always has been, jack shit. And then maybe my father understood that from the get-go. Maybe understood from the get-go that it was jack shit. You see, and the craziest thing with my mom is, we had a situation, right? We had a situation. And with my mom, I never even asked her, do you think I'm guilty? Right? Yeah, I never asked her. Once again, it doesn't matter if you're guilty or not, if people think that you're guilty, you know? Yesterday I went to my father's house for Easter, and it was nice to see the uncle and the aunt, but there were some instances where I haven't seen those people in years. And I could tell that one of them was kind of mad about it, because he treated me coldly. But then again, we were never close to begin with, so I didn't really care. But then, it's not about, we're never really close, and I don't really care. It's, do I deserve the treatment? Do you think, personally, I'm to blame? Do you think I did something wrong, right? And that's pretty much it. Which is, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough, because the simple concept of innocent till proven guilty is flawed, right? Because it's not innocent till proven guilty. Some people will think that you're innocent. Some people will think that you're guilty, right? I don't know. It's quite complex. The innocent still proven guilty. Some of them, for example, right? There's this father who was drunk, and he had he accident because he drank too much, and he did some DUI, which is driving under the influence, right? And sadly there was an accident, and there was some injured people, right? He's innocent until proven guilty, right? So that means he's gonna have to go to the court of law, where he's gonna be judged guilty or not guilty. But then you got the media were saying, hey, this guy got drunk, and hey, there's a lot of injured, right? So the perception of public is guilty, because that's why we're told he is guilty, right? He did drink and he did drive. Now, technically speaking, the guy is guilty, but it's presumed, this presumption of innocent until proven guilty, it's always gonna be flawed, because the system will judge you before the people will judge you before the system judge you, right? And in most cases, we just want to see a bloodbath. We just want to see people get put in prison. We want the world to be a safer place. So that means putting people in prison to avoid them contaminating or being dangerous and a danger or a risk, right? But then some of those people are innocent. And we don't really care, because we know that we're innocent. Because we know that we're innocent. I don't care if this criminal did it or not. I want a place to be safe. So if he needs to be put in prison, he needs to be put in prison. That's quite sad. Anyway, long enough video. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.